Hi, I'm Crystal and welcome back to my kitchen. It's been a while since I've made a video. Life kind of got in the way, but I've been doing a lot of cooking and I have something I want to share with you today. So we've been out fishing on our boat. Scuba diving season ended and we have about a month of striped bass fishing. And we were just out fishing yesterday and we caught some striped bass. So I have these beautiful striper fillets. And a coworker gave me a tip about a recipe on a New Jersey fishing website, which I tried, and it's amazing. And I'm gonna make it today, and you're gonna make it with me. It's called striper cakes. Think crab cakes, but with fish. And they came out so amazingly delicious. You can fry them, you can bake them, you can broil them. I don't have a fryer and I prefer not to cook fried food, so when I made them, I broiled them and they were terrific. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to prepare everything and then I'm going to vacuum seal them because I'm making some for our friends as well. And then I'll freeze them, and when they're ready to eat them, they can pull them out of the freezer and they can do the last cooking step, which is put them under the broiler or throw them in their fryer, whatever they prefer. And for us, for dinner today, I'll just broil ours so you can see that step as well. So it doesn't take too many ingredients. You need Dijon mustard, some mayonnaise, Old Bay seasoning, and then it has vegetables such as garlic and onion and carrots and celery and green bell pepper and corn, and then breadcrumbs. And the first time I made the recipe, I used regular Progresso Italian herb breadcrumbs, but now this time I'm going to use panko breadcrumbs because I really like the panko quality better. And I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out. So let's get started. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to steam the fish. And to do that, I'm just using a pan, and I put my steamer at the bottom. Whatever your method is for steaming, just use that. And I'm going to start this first so that the fish is ready by the time I'm ready to use it. Now this is really fresh fish. As I mentioned, we caught it yesterday. I'm just going to check to see if it needs any trimming. I kind of don't think so, but I have these gorgeous fillets. Now, if you've never had striped bass, I feel sorry about that for you, but this is a very, very nice, meaty white fish. So if you don't have striped bass, you could use any kind of meaty white fish for this recipe, and I'm sure it would taste great. So feel free to experiment with whatever fish you have. Some of our friends at the marina say they use bluefish, but that's a little strong for my taste. But this would be great with cod or flounder, any kind of fish you want to try, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little bit of the bloodline part out because I don't want that in my cakes. So I'm just going to cut that out just like this. And then I'm just doing a quick check to see if there's any bones, which I can feel that there's a little bit of bones in this. We kind of do like we try to do our best when we're filleting the fish at the dock, but sometimes it's a bit of a rough cut. So I just fine tune it here at home if I need to. And then I'm just cutting them in half because, cutting the fillet in quarters because it'll steam up better. If it's not all one big chunk, I think it'll go a little bit faster. Okay, so I've just laid it here in my pan on top of my steamer. I'm gonna wash my hands and then I'll turn this on to steam with a little lid on the top, and I'll be right back. Thanks. Hi, welcome back. So in this version of the striper cakes that I'm making for my friends, the one person is allergic to onions, so I'm omitting the onion, but I've got the rest of my vegetables ready to go. I've got fresh whole kernels, sweet corn, chopped carrots, chopped celery, and chopped green bell pepper. I'm going to saute these in a little bit of olive oil, and then once that step is done, I'll be ready to start mixing the ingredients together. One more thing I forgot. I think even though the recipe doesn't call for garlic, I really like the garlic flavor, so I'm going to add a little bit of garlic paste since I'm out of fresh garlic. So you can do that as well as if you want. I happen to always keep it in my fridge in a little jar because I like it and it makes things easy. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I've got the vegetables sauteing here on the stove top. I added a little bit of garlic paste like I mentioned. And let's check the fish that's steaming here on the... Okay, we'll turn the heat off for a minute. Oh, look at that. Okay, see how the fish is just a nice white color? Let me just poke it here with the spoon and see. Oh, okay. Now when I poke it with the spoon, it looks like it's just easily flaking apart. So that means our fish is done. So what I'm going to do is let it cool off and let it drain through the strainer. And then by the time the vegetables are done, everything will be ready to start mixing together. Hi. Okay, we're ready to mix everything up to make the striper cakes. I hope you're excited. I am. 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Doesn't have to be perfect. And 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then I'm going to add 2 eggs. This will help bind everything together. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, that's kind of my consistency. All right. So I'm going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm going to add, I like it a little spicy, I'm going to add maybe about 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. Obviously, if you don't want the chili flakes, you don't have to add them. To that, I'm going to add in my sauteed vegetable mixture. Don't forget your Old Bay seasoning. Need about 2 teaspoons of this. Okay, fold that in. All right, now we're gonna add the fish. When you add the fish, be sure to check to make sure there's no bones, okay? The fish is cooled off, so now we can flake it apart and add it to our vegetable mixture. And as I had advised, I like to use my fingers so that I can keep an eye out for any potential fish bones. So I'm just flaking it apart here. And, you know, like I said, see if there's any bones, because the last thing you want is to bite into your fish cake and, you know, poke yourself in the mouth with a bone. So try to check it carefully. And I'm not crumbling the fish, I'm just kind of breaking it apart naturally, wherever it naturally will flake apart. This recipe calls for about 2 pounds of fish, and I would say you could probably make it, if you follow the recipe, it says to use 1 cup of mixture to make 1 fish cake. Those are kind of big, that's what I did the first time. And with about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of fish, you could make anywhere between 6 and 8 fish cakes out of that. And they ended up being about this big around, so pretty substantial. And depending on, you know, whether or not that's your only dish for the meal, you know, each person might eat 2, but if you have other sides and a salad and such, then maybe it's like 1 fish cake per person. Kind of gives you an idea of like the quantity. So I'm going to mix this up. And the last item we're going to add is the breadcrumbs. The recipe calls for about 2 cups, and you can follow the recipe. You can add a little more, a little less. Your mixture will kind of dictate how much you need. But we add that last because first we want to make sure that to get the fish mixed in really well with all the sauce and the egg and the spices and the vegetables, so that everything is coated nicely. And I'm scraping from the bottom to just get it all mixed up really well. Okay, and here's what it looks like now. Okay, all right. So now we need, like I said, about 2 cups, and I'm using panko breadcrumbs. Not really measuring, I'm just kind of guesstimating, but feel free to measure it at home if you haven't done it before and you want to make sure it comes out, you know, just right. Stir it up. And you'll notice as you're starting to stir it up that it's, whoops, a little bit fell out there, that it's, there's not really much liquid anymore because between the fish and the breadcrumbs, the liquid is getting, the liquid from the eggs and the mayo and the mustard is getting absorbed by these other items. So that's exactly what we want. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more breadcrumb. So you can see so far this recipe is not hard to make. It just has a few steps that are a little time consuming, but it's not hard. You can easily make this at home. Doesn't call for too many different ingredients. Okay. I think it's ready to shape the cakes. I'm going to use the 1/2 cup. Use the 1/2 cup measuring cup to determine the portion size. Last time I used the 1 cup and it turned out great, but I felt the cakes were just a little bit big and I thought maybe I'll try them a little bit smaller this time. So I'm going to do like a heaping portion, like 1/2 cup plus a little extra, okay? So now what I'm going to do is pull it out, dump it out into my hand, kind of form it into a little bit of a ball, and then flatten that a little bit, kind of like you're making a hamburger patty. And I'm going to make them to be about the size of the palm of my hand. Okay. Check that out. Okay. So I'm going to continue on in that way. Here's a couple of them already formed. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm going to continue in that method until I make cakes out of this whole bowl full of goodness. See you in a few. Okay, I finished making all of the striper fish cakes, and then I shrink wrapped and froze a bunch of them. I've made 2 different batches, one without onions for our friend and one with onions for us. And now I'm going to cook a few of them in the broiler for our dinner tonight. So I just wanted to show you how they turned out. Don't they look delicious? And under the broiler on high for about 6 minutes, they'll become a nice golden brown. I think they'll be ready to eat. All right. Okay, I underestimated the cooking time. It actually took about 10 minutes under the broiler on high. And they smell delicious. Check that out. So just leave them in there until they're a nice golden brown. Your oven might cook a little bit differently than mine. Let's take a bite and see how they turned out. Okay. Just gonna take one of the little ones first. Okay. Oops. Okay. Now, some people like to eat these with tartar sauce because it's kind of like a crab cake, except it's not crab, it's fish. So I'll let you guys choose how you want to do it. It's delicious. I'm so glad I switched from regular breadcrumbs to panko this time. So I hope you'll try your own fish cakes at home. It's okay if you don't have striped bass. And again, this is Crystal in the kitchen. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget to click in the description. I'll have the link to the recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. See you next time.